The answer is D. Written and bulky document. The Indian Constitution is a written and bulky document. It is the longest written national constitution in the world, with 395 articles in 22 parts and 8 schedules. It has been amended 105 times since it came into force in 1950. The other options are incorrect. Option A is incorrect because the Indian Constitution is not based on conventions. It is based on the principles of democracy, federalism, secularism, and socialism. Option B is incorrect because the Indian Constitution is not an evolved constitution. It is a new constitution that was drafted by the Constituent Assembly in 1949. Option C is incorrect because the Indian Constitution is not a brief document. It is a long and detailed document that covers a wide range of topics. I hope this helps. The answer is B. November 26, 1949. The Constituent Assembly adopted the Indian Constitution on November 26, 1949. It came into force on January 26, 1950. So the correct option is B. I hope this helps. Is there anything else I can help you with? The Constitution of India declares India as a union of states. A union of states is a type of federal system in which the states are more autonomous than in a unitary system. The states in a union of states have their own constitutions and governments, and they can make laws on a wide range of matters. However, the central government also has a significant amount of power, and it can override the laws of the states in certain cases. India is a union of states because the states have a significant amount of autonomy. They have their own constitutions and governments, and they can make laws on a wide range of matters. However, the central government also has a significant amount of power, and it can override the laws of the states in certain cases. The other options are incorrect. Option A is incorrect because India is not a unitary state. A unitary state is a state in which all power is concentrated in the central government. The states in a unitary state have no autonomy. Option B is incorrect because India is not a federation state. A federation state is a state in which the power is shared between the central government and the states. The states in a federation state have more autonomy than in a unitary state, but they do not have as much autonomy as in a union of states. Option C is incorrect because India is not a quasi-federal state. A quasi-federal state is a state that has some of the features of a unitary state and some of the features of a federation state. India does not have all of the features of a quasi-federal state. I hope this helps. The Constitution of India is a federal in form but unitary in spirit. The Constitution of India has many features of a federal system, such as the division of powers between the central government and the state governments, the existence of a bicameral legislature, and the independent judiciary. However, the Constitution also gives the central government significant powers, such as the power to declare an emergency and the power to override the laws of the states. This dual nature of the Indian Constitution has been described as federal in form but unitary in spirit. This means that the Constitution provides for a federal system of government, but the central government has more power than the state governments. The other options are incorrect. Option B is incorrect because the Constitution of India is not full of strong unitary features. There are many provisions in the Constitution that give the state governments significant powers. Option C is incorrect because the Constitution of India is not unitary with strong federal bias. The central government has more power than the state governments, so it cannot be said that the Constitution has a strong federal bias. Option D is incorrect because the Constitution of India is not federal in spirit. The Constitution gives the central government significant powers, so it cannot be said that the Constitution is federal in spirit. I hope this helps. The chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution was a Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was a jurist, economist, politician and social reformer who inspired the Dalit Buddhist movement and campaigned against social discrimination against Dalits. He was also a member of the Constituent Assembly of India and the chairman of the drafting committee. The other options are incorrect. Option B is incorrect because Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the president of the Constituent Assembly of India. Option C is incorrect because Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister of India from 1947 to 1964. Option D is incorrect because Jagjeevan Ram was a freedom fighter and politician who served as the Minister of Labour and Employment from 1966 to 1970. I hope this helps. The present number of articles in the Indian Constitution is D. 448. The Constitution of India originally had 395 articles in 22 parts and 8 schedules. However, it has been amended 105 times since it came into force in 1950. The latest amendment was made in 2021. As a result of these amendments, the number of articles has increased to 448. The other options are incorrect. Option A is incorrect because the Constitution of India originally had 395 articles. Option B is incorrect because the Constitution of India has been amended 105 times since it came into force in 1950. Option C is incorrect because the Constitution of India has 12 schedules, not 10. I hope this helps. The 42nd Amendment of the Constitution of India added the word secular in the preamble. The 42nd Amendment was passed in 1976 during the emergency period. It made a number of changes to the Constitution, including the addition of the word secular to the preamble. The preamble is the introductory statement of the Constitution, and it sets out the basic principles of the Constitution. By adding the word secular, the 42nd Amendment made it clear that India is a secular state, which means that it does not have an official religion. The other options are incorrect. Option B is incorrect because the 44th Amendment did not add the word secular to the Constitution. Option C is incorrect because the 45th Amendment did not add the word secular to the Constitution. Option D is incorrect because the 46th Amendment did not add the word secular to the Constitution. I hope this helps. The Government of India Act 1935 provided for all of the above. Diarchy at the center. The Act introduced a system of diarchy at the center, which meant that some subjects were to be administered by the Governor-General with the help of a Council of Ministers, while others were to be administered by the Governor-General alone. Provincial autonomy. The Act granted provincial autonomy to the provinces, which meant that they were given control over a wide range of subjects, such as education, agriculture, and local self-government. Establishment of Federal Court. The Act established a federal court to hear disputes between the central and provincial governments, and between the provinces themselves. The Government of India Act 1935 was a significant step towards self-government for India. It was the first time that the British had granted any real power to the Indians, and it paved the way for the independence of India in 1947. So the answer is D. The Constituent Assembly of India started its work in 1946 and completed its work in January 1950. The Constituent Assembly was first convened on December 9, 1946, and it held its last session on January 24, 1950. The Constitution of India was adopted on November 26, 1949, and it came into force on January 26, 1950. So the answer is D. I hope this helps. The preamble of the Constitution of India has been amended once so far. The preamble was amended by the 42nd Amendment Act, 1976. The amendment added the words secular and socialist to the preamble. The preamble is the introductory statement of the Constitution, and it sets out the basic principles of the Constitution. By adding the words secular and socialist, the 42nd Amendment made it clear that India is a secular and socialist state. So the answer is D.